schools that encourage and teach the importance of abstinence, as well as character issues in schools. Am I correct about that?
You're absolutely right. And with the change of administration, we've gotten even more strong support of that. The problem is that when abstinence money became available to the states, all of the states, the people who have been doing sex education for over 30 years, who have been doing what we call comprehensive sex education, or done something like this. We know abstinence is good, but since we all know you're not going to do it, we'll spend the next 9 weeks talking about every birth control available to man. You know, they don't really teach abstinence. The problem is they're getting some of this money. In fact, in the state of Michigan, which is my home state, the Michigan Abstinence Project spent $1 million of abstinence money putting billboards all over, mostly Detroit, but around the state saying this: I have better things to do with my life than make babies. That was their abstinence education. It is a travesty. And what my ministry is trying to do is to say, you know what, if the money is there, if your community has the money for abstinence education, let's do it right. And there are a lot of ways we do it right. We need to train peers to reach their peers. I have a tremendous peer education program. We need to make sure the school's curriculum is correct. But one of the things that I firmly believe is that there needs to come a time in the high school experience of every student where they all hear the message at the same time in a way that's very powerful. That means throw them in a gymnasium. You know, because if you're just teaching 9th graders in their health class, that 9th grade girl is not dating a 9th grade boy. She's dating a senior, and he was not in that class and he didn't hear it. But when I've got them all together in a gym, they hear a powerful message all at once, all together, that they can't escape from. I tell people that travel with me, one of the funnest things to watch is you watch a high school kids pile into a gym, and you know what it's like. They're all, I'm cool, we're going to talk about sex, and you see the boys and the girls like leeching onto each other. They're like, and I said, 10 minutes into my talk, separation is taking place, you know. She's like, I think I'll sit over here, you know. And it's just fun to watch an entire audience of students change. And when you can hit a city that way, when you can say, you know, I'll have kids, I'll be in like I was in Jackson, Tennessee, and I'm in one high school, and they say, are you going over to South High School? I said, I'll be there in about 2 hours. Good, because my boyfriend goes there, and he better be in that assembly. The entire community has heard it together, which causes the parents to come out, which it really lights a fire for the kids to begin to think about these choices.
What are one of the things that you start off with in your talks that gets their attention? Because the kids can turn you out, you know, turn you off pretty quick.
Well, and like I shared at the beginning, too, I didn't come here to choose for you. I can't go on your dates with you. I don't have time. You can do whatever you want. My goal is that you choose. And then we talk about the physical and the emotional consequences of sex. And one of the things I say is that their #1 fear still is what? What's the biggest fear of teens having sex?
Most of them pregnancy.
Pregnancy is the biggest fear. Like, I got a news flash for you. Pregnancy is not a disease. It's survivable. You can actually live through it. I mean, I've lived through it 3 times now, a few extra pounds here and there. It hasn't killed me yet. And yet we have girls scared of pregnancy. Our teenage girls have a 4 times greater risk of contracting a disease than they ever have of being pregnant. Pregnant teenage girls today are carrying, on average, 2.3 sexually transmitted diseases. Not 1, not 2, most of them 3 or more. But they weren't worried about getting pregnant or about getting a disease. They were worried about getting pregnant. Right. In fact, most of the girls will come and say to me, every school, I'm not kidding you, every school, I'll have a girl say this to me, well, my mom found out I was having sex, and so she put me on the pill. Or Norplant or Depo. What is that protecting that girl from? Birth control protects from pregnancy. That drug, that hormone that we've given this girl has just made her 10 times more likely to contract a disease than if she were not taking it. This girl is going to end up sterile or dead. No, thanks, Mom. Glad you cared. You know, I mean, pregnancy is not the worst thing. And I tell kids, I can walk you through an unplanned pregnancy. We can walk you through that. The rest of this is horribly, horribly devastating, and primarily to girls. That's the other thing we're not communicating clearly. In fact, almost every STD, most of them have no symptoms. Kids don't know they have them unless they're being tested, and they're not being tested because, of course, it's not going to happen to them. I mean, if there's a sexually active teenager listening today, let me tell you something I know about you. You actually believe that if you get up the next morning and herpes isn't tattooed to your forehead, you don't have a disease. Right? I mean, if I can't see it, feel it, touch it, I don't have it. If I had a disease, I would know. My nose would turn purple, my ears would be red, something would burn, I would know. Yeah. No, you wouldn't. The only way you'd know is if you got tested. They don't get tested because they're not sick. They're passing disease like wildfire, and the damage is being done mostly to women. Girls will pay a higher price every single time. I tell kids, in case you missed this in 6th grade human reproduction and anatomy, we're different. You know, boys and girls' bodies are not the same. Typically, some of them are looking confused, and I have to go, did I need the charts? Remember that? Women have an open sexual system. Men have a closed sexual system. Women are easier to infect, easier to damage. Our girls need to understand that. They have more to lose. And he can say all the words, you know, I love you. Everybody else, I can't live without it. Honey, at the end of the day, he's got a lot less to lose than you do.
You appreciate someone with a message like this. I do. I bless you and I thank you, Pam. And I say to all of you, if you'd like to get Pam, tell us how we can find you on the website. If you wanted to come to your area, she's got others who work with her in their group to help communicate the truth. And they can come, they can take your whole city. You have the curriculums and even funds a lot of times set aside to help these kind of programs come into your schools. Pam, how do they find you? You can, best and easiest way is to go to the World Wide Web, and it's just www.pamstenzel.com. And I know that your office as well here, your people here would be glad to remind them and help them get in touch with us. But on the website, there's all of that information. We have curriculum for churches as well as curriculum for the public school, and they can get in touch with us. She has the, like she said, the tapes and curriculum available.